Hey, what's up everyone, it's Patrick, and welcome to my guide. This guide is going to be like a 2-for-1. I'm going to be explaining how to do the Wilderness Flash events, as well as a Civil War II mini quest on RuneScape 3. The reason being is that you must complete 4 Wilderness Flash events as part of the Walk on the Wildy side 1 achievement in order to complete the mini quest. The Flash event aside, the mini quest by itself literally only takes 2 minutes. Everything will be timestamped in the description below if you want to skip around. This video is brought to you by the awesome members of my Patreon. If you want access to some exclusive perks, check out the link in the description below. Enjoy the video, everyone. I'm going to start off by explaining how to do a flash event. This is not going to be a full in-depth guide, just the stuff that I think you need to know. I straight up just winged it with little to no information when I did it. I still thought it was pretty simple, and most importantly, I got it done. So there's one flash event that starts at the beginning of every hour on the dot, meaning 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, whatever. But you actually want to get going about 5 to 10 minutes before that because you have to prepare for it, as well as getting to the location of the event, because they can also go pretty quick. They only last about 5 minutes each. You want as much time as possible to do it, and you might also want to watch this video all the way through before doing anything, because you don't want to be trying to figure things out while you're short on time. As long as you pay attention, I don't even think you have to watch this for a second time. So first off, to figure out where the next event is going to be, since it can vary, you want to go to this area in Edgeville near the Wilderness Wall. At any point, regardless of how far you are away from the next hour, speak to the Wandering Ramoki and select option 4 to ask when is the next event. I know I already told you at the top of every hour, that's not the important part. The important part is that when you select this chat option, they'll also tell you where it is, and descriptions are pretty simple to figure out. They usually give you some kind of reference point that you can easily find on the world map. Like for this one I got, they told me it's near the Damonheim Peninsula, which is right around here. Don't follow this, by the way. I'm just giving you examples right now. As I said, it can vary. Also, keep your dialogue open for a second. Before you go, you also have to know how to prepare for it. Link to the description below is a wiki page that I used. At the time that I'm making this video, this wiki page isn't so good, as in I feel like there should be more information on here, such as the locations of the events, but who knows, maybe it's subject to change or something like that. But regardless, this is why I had you speak to a Wandering Ramoki to get the location. So despite me saying the wiki page isn't so good, I'm going to show you what I actually used the wiki page for. The first thing you need to figure out is which event you're actually doing, as there's a bunch of different ones, but you only have to do 4 of them for the achievement. In the same dialogue where they explain to you where to find the next event, they also have some key words in there to indicate what the next event might involve in terms of what you have to do. For example, mine right here says something about Forgotten Warriors. On the wiki page, there's an event called Forgotten Soldiers. You see, it shouldn't be too hard to figure out. There are some other helpful things on this wiki page, such as a description of what you have to do for each event, as well as the skills involved. The only one where I think you might need to bring something is the Surprise Seedlings one, which is a farming event. I brought a magic watering can with me, but I don't even know if you really need a watering can or if they give you one. You can bring some just in case. You need more than one regular watering can if it is required. You won't need armor for every event, but you should at least always bring some food, because even in the skilling events, there are things that can hurt you, but you also shouldn't fill up your inventory in case you need space. There are combat events where you need armor and food. I would recommend bringing your best gear along with any potions or whatever to help boost your DPS, even overloads. I'll explain why in a minute. For any other event, you should be able to make do with what you already have in your tool belt. Let me show you what happens when you actually show up at the spot. First off, you might not have the exact location correct, since this is a brand new update at the time that I'm making this. People don't really know where things are, but hopefully there's either more information out, especially on the wiki page, by the time you're watching this, or do what I did. If there's a bunch of other people doing it, especially in a highly populated world, just follow them or do it the old-fashioned way and look around. And of course, if you're early, the event won't actually start until the next hour begins. When you're actually in the event area and it begins, this interface that I have in the bottom right will pop up. You'll see how much time you and all the other players have to complete it. The next thing is what you have to do personally. This is important because if you don't hit this number, you won't get the reward, and it also won't count towards the achievement for you to be able to do the mini quest. And the last thing is how much you and all the players have to do collectively. This has to be done before the timer runs out. There are some events, especially the skilling event, where it's very easy to hit your personal goal. Please do not be lazy and decide to stop just because you hit it, because if you fail to hit the overall goal as a group before the timer runs out, it also won't count. So you're not helping anyone by doing that, not even yourself. If you're doing a skilling event, depending on the event, the items you're collecting may or may not go into your inventory. Keep in mind, the ones where the stuff does go into your inventory usually means you have to hand them into somebody for it to count towards your personal goal. Just look for an NPC nearby with a give option. You can easily figure out whether or not this is something you need to do by looking at whether or not the number is going up as you're doing the event. The combat events are a real pain in my opinion. If there's a lot of people, I feel like it's easier to hit the group goal before your personal goal. This is a problem because then the event will be over before you get your share. The personal goal is usually for you to do a certain amount of damage, and this is why I recommend bringing overloads and stuff so you can maximize your DPS. There is one event specifically I want to talk about called the Infernal Starfight, which is a mixture of mining and combat. I'm going to speak about this one specifically because it was one of the ones that I did, and it was a bit different from the rest, being that it's comprised of 2 parts. You don't need inventory space for this one. This isn't one of those scaling events where you have to hand stuff in. Bring your best pickaxe, assuming it's not already in your tool belt, and bring combat gear. The first part of it is a scaling event where you use mining to mine an Infernal Star. This is similar to mining a shooting star. There are personal and group goals here of having to mine a certain amount. Once you're done mining, you do a combat event where you'll fight Pyrofiends. It'll then turn into like any other combat event, just defeat all enemies while personally trying to deal as much damage as possible. This event does count as 2 for the achievement, and you get double the rewards if you manage to hit the goals for both. Some events will end when the timer runs out, even if you hit your group goal, and some events will end when you hit your group goal regardless of how much time's supposed to be left. This one just seems to depend on the event and makes no sense to me personally, but you know, whatever, just do what you gotta do. Regardless, do not go anywhere while you're waiting for an event to end. You'll know it's over when you receive your reward. If you log out or switch worlds or anything before that, you'll lose all your progress. If you get one of those events that ends as soon as you finish, regardless of what's on the timer, as soon as you get your reward, you can actually try hopping to another world to try to do it again, assuming you can even find a world where it's still going on. I personally wasn't able to pull this one off, but I've seen someone suggest it, so you could definitely try it. That's basically it for the flash events. Now we're moving on to mini quests. So the only requirements for us is that you have to complete the 4 flash events as well as the Civil War 1 mini quest. Assuming you've done them already, you don't need to bring anything with you for the Civil War 2 mini quest itself. To start, go to the area in the wilderness shown by a yellow marker on this map. Speak to Anne Dimitri and accept the quest. Head to the Wandering Ramaki nearby. Speak to Wandering Ramaki and select option 1 twice. Everything should go smoothly here, assuming you have completed the 4 Wilderness Flash events as part of the Walk on the Wildy Side 1 achievement. Go back to Anne Dimitri. Speak to Anne Dimitri, get cutscene. Once the cutscene's over, that should be the end of this mini quest, so I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for future videos to come if you haven't already. There's also links in the description below for my Patreon, donation link, Twitter, and Discord where you can interact with me. Donations can also be made directly through YouTube now with thanks option near like button below the video. Anyways, catch you later. Peace.